Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, champions. I welcome us to this Supercell meeting. I know you're quite surprised. It's been a while, I know. So how was our weekend? Weekend was very activity filled for most of us. It was very blessed for most of us. And for those of us who are Catholics, we celebrated our Mother's Day yesterday. What was it like for you? Yeah, good morning, Yvonne. What was it like for you? What did they remind you of? All right. It's not just those who have biological children. Even if you're not married, you have downline to a mother to them. So how was it like for you yesterday? What did they remind you of? If I start telling you what they reminded me of, that would be another cell meeting for today. But let's dive into what we have today. I want to believe that each and every one of us will find something valuable to pick from today. What we want us to discuss today is actually in two parts. So we start from the preliminaries, we start from the beginning, because I love the saying by the Igbos, if you don't know where the rain started to fall on you, you will not know where it stopped. So we need to know why we do what we do. We need to know why certain things happen and what we can do to abate such things. Then we can now delve into the solution. Okay, so I titled it Action, the Only Antidote. And I'm going to liken it to our business today so that we know why some things happen. Not everything is as a result of your village people and you start binding and casting. No. Some things are things. In fact, most things that happen to us are things that we can actually control. Yeah, we know we pray, but when you start praying for things that God has given you the power to work on, then we begin to experience misplaced priorities, and we start to say that God is not answering our prayers. Meanwhile, everything we need to become that star is already in us. Have you thought of the fact that since the last time God created the world, the 7 days according to what the Bible told us, 6 days actually, and he rested on the 7th day. He has not created any other thing. What does that tell you? Everything that has been made after God created the world was picked up from what is already existing in our world today by people who believed they were creators like God. We keep hearing that we are gods, we're made in God's DNA. Have you really sat down to think of that fact? That's a very deep statement. And you need to give it some deep thought to understand it. God created the world and he said, yes, if you believe in me, you're going to do much more. We're not here to preach because we know we have Christians and Muslims in the house. But the fact is, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, whether you're an atheist, whether you don't believe in God or not, you believe that there is something that is bigger than you and I in this universe. So since the last time the world was created, what has been, a lot of things have been created, a lot of things have been merged. Why? Because everything we need to become creators is already with us. What does that tell you? Everything you need to get to the pinnacle of your career is already in you, is already within you. All you need to do is to take action. And that's why I termed it that the action is the only antidote. And what stands in the way becomes the way. What stands in the way becomes the way. So let's move on. Today, I want to see if I can clear this part 1 so that the next session, the next class we'll have will be showing us what exactly we need to do if we must combat every obstacle that comes our way. So what exactly is that obstacle? What exactly, that thing that you call obstacle, what exactly is it? Do you understand that what you call obstacle may be what I jump at when it comes my way? Have you not bothered to ask yourself, why is it that in this, whatever we are discussing, we are going to bring it home, okay? What if that obstacle, that thing you call obstacle, what if it wasn't so bad? What if? Just what if? What if it wasn't so bad? And what if inside that seemingly difficult obstacle, you have things, benefits embedded in it for you? Just what if? Think of it. Then you will understand when I start talking to you about perception. I'm trying to get out something here. All right, I came across a saying that says our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions and dispositions. And I will explain that to you as we move on, because we can accommodate and adapt. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes, the obstacle to our acting. And it says that the impediment to action, advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What if in that thing you call obstacle, there was a lesson in? See, have you think of all the great men that has ever lived or that have ever lived? Is there anyone that produced something magnanimous from the comfort zone? Just think of them. Most Fortune 500 countries were built in recession, where they had a lot of difficulties. Things that would have ordinarily broken them was what gave rise to what they eventually became. So what is that obstacle you're passing through? What if in it you had benefits embedded in it that is only for you, and if you miss it, it will be missed for life? What would you do if you were to find out? Now let me ask you, what would you do if everything were to go smoothly? If you knew you could never fail, what is that one thing you would do? These are questions I need us to ask ourselves and answer in whatever language you deem fit. What would you do if you knew you would never fail? How would you face your business if you knew you would never fail? How would you talk to that prospect if you knew for sure that prospect must sign up? Would you stop prospecting, or would you even go ahead to talk to that man if you were so sure that when you talk to him, he was going to come and do megaverse? What would you do? And whatever it is you would do if you knew you wouldn't fail should be what you should keep doing every day of your life. And we'll get to the root of that, why that should be, and why we've been advised to do that, that we know if things were to be told that you were to be given 100% affirmation and 100% assurance that you would achieve it, you will do it. That should be what should lead you, okay? So let's look at what we've seen happen over the years. People that triumphed in the face of obstacles had a framework for coping. Remember that we're going to talk about action, but I know that what stops some people from taking action are what they term obstacles. Oh, I can't do this. I would have loved to do this, but I can't. If this weren't there, I would have done this. If I had a better upline, I would have done this. If my teammates were more responsive, I would have hit millionaire level. If blah, 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 I would have become a millionaire second member. You have a lot of things stopping you. But I want you to understand today that everyone that has triumphed in the face of obstacles, they had a framework they designed for their coping. So you must have your own coping mechanism. But there was something that was very common amongst them. I'm going to read it out. If any of these things occur in your life, then know that you're on the right path to knowing how to cope with the mechanism, with the obstacles that may come your way. Cool-headedness and self-discipline. If you read a lot, you may have come across this man, John Rockefeller. And that was one thing that actually helped him. Some people feel he remains the greatest oil merchant that has ever lived. But he abided by those two principles, cool-headedness and self-discipline. Nothing fazed him, nothing. Even if the whole world lies, let them be running helter-skelter, it does not move him. He developed that habit of keeping a cool-headedness, all right, and disciplining himself so that he would be able to analyze whatever comes, whatever hits him, and analyze it properly. And that was how he was able to amass all the oil wells in his time, all right? Now, another person I would like to mention is someone that has been termed the greatest orator, is from Greece, all right, that has ever lived. And what led him was a relentless drive to improve himself through action and practice. If you actually read about him, his name is tongue twisted, but I'll try to call it. He's called Demosthenes. I want to believe I called it well. He was actually born with speech impediment, and his parents, as we were told, left a lot of fortune, inheritance. But his guardians, his supposed guardians, took up the inheritance and left nothing with him. And because he was something you could term someone of low, he had something with his tongue, he couldn't speak well. He needed to find a way to, turn that thing to something that suited him the most. And he grew to become a great orator. What did he do? We're told that he actually secluded himself from the world, built, will I call it a ditch or something, a cave kind of, where he put himself, and every day he carried pebbles in his bag. I need you to understand what men have done to get to the height that they become admirable to a lot of people. You're there wallowing in self-misery, crying, why me, the pity party song. But a lot of people have passed through what you've passed through and even greater challenges than you, and they've been able to come out of. So what did they do? They stopped looking at those obstacles as obstacles and they looked at them as steps to climb into where they want to get to. See, someone say if you're thrown a lemon, you can either decide to lament about it or you make a lemonade out of it. If the one is throwing steps at you, stones at you, you can actually use that stone and form a staircase for yourself to keep climbing. And that was what this young man did. Every morning he would carry pebbles in his mouth and he would try to speak with pebbles filled in his mouth. And that was how he was able to combat it. But in order to abstain and defeat the obstacles that may come his way, he said he shaved his hair halfway so that he would be embarrassed enough not to come out. So he wasn't coming out, he kept himself until his speech was so good that he could defend himself in court, and eventually was able to turn around the verdict, even though he didn't get most of the inheritance that was to come to him. But he became a great orator that defended a lot of people. What is that obstacle that has come your way? Another man I would want to mention today used humility, endurance, and compassionate will to defeat his obstacles. Now, I want to ask you a question now. For you, having analyzed all these 3 points I put out there, what can these be summarized for you? I know what it gave you, what I came up with. All right? What can you summarize? What can this cool-headedness and self-discipline, relentless drive to improve oneself through action and practice, humility, endurance, compassion, what can you, I need someone, see, if we are doing a supercell meeting, understand that it has to be interactive because we need to know, yeah, hello, I'm seeing a lot of greetings, sorry, I didn't see that initially, but I want to believe that we are all listening now and we are already beginning to take notes. So I need you to tell me what these things what you can summarize these things to mean for you as pertains to business. All right, what can you summarize this? To me, it means never quitting. It means commitment and consistency. What does it mean for you? I need 1 or 2 persons to respond. What does this mean for you? When they tell you don't be fazed by the obstacles that may come your way. Prospects are not signing, you're not bothered. They came, they didn't make payment, you're not bothered. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? Let the responses come in while we proceed, okay? Let the responses come in. But let's look at some nuggets before I proceed. I targeted it nuggets for a reason. All great victories, be they in politics, art, businesses, involve resolving vexing problems with a potent cocktail of creativity, focus, and daring. I need you to read it one after the other. All great victories, be they in politics, be it in art, be it in business, it involved resolving vexing problems. What does that tell you? You will surely have problems. Thank you, Ikerevela. It means never quitting no matter what, okay? Let's have it coming. All right, be there in politics, art, businesses, bring it to our business, network marketing, whatever it is you're doing, buying and selling traditional businesses, there must be problems. All right, because without problems, you cannot create solutions. For every solution that has ever existed or will ever exist, there must be problem for which those solutions will be created for. That is the only way you can make money. And that's why you're told that if you're not preferring solutions to any problem in the world, you will be broke. If you're poor, it's because you're not solving any problem. And that's why Africa, especially our country, Nigeria today, becomes one of the greatest places you can actually amass wealth. You can become massively wealthy in our country today because we have plenty problems. Our politicians have designed wahala for us. Right, left, center, there's problem everywhere, especially the problem of poverty. And when I talk to people, I tell them, yes, some of you say money is vanity and all of that. Of course, we love to talk about money. I love to talk about wealth creation. And then you come and tell me that the love for money is the root of all evil. I turned around that saying, and I say in my words that the lack of money is the root of all evil. Why do people steal? Why do ritualists occur? Why do all of this? Even politics, why do they do all of that? Because they want to amass money, they want to amass wealth. So imagine what you and I can do if we get into the habit of wealth creation and we help to solve that problem of lack of money. It means we will become massively wealthy because we have a solution we are providing to the world. All right, so there must be problems, vexing problems. All right. that you have to design a cocktail for. I hope you know a cocktail. I call it potent cocktail of creativity. So you have to be creative and you have to be laser focused on that problem you want to solve. And of course, you have to be daring, because you know why? Fortune favors the bold. What you know does not matter if you cannot implement it. Your knowledge is a waste if you cannot implement it. And so also in our business, it's a waste if you cannot implement it. If your words cannot touch others, okay, keep pushing, keep showing, okay, I can see, it means I have to stay focused no matter what, fine. Problems are lessons and stepping stone for growth, fantastic. So when you have a goal, obstacles are actually teaching you how to get to where you want to go to. The obstacles you encounter is life carving a path for you to attain your goal. The reason I'm telling you this is for you to understand that obstacles actually do not exist. To me, in the real sense of it, obstacles are there for the good of you that is experiencing it. So that's what they call obstacles. They are simply stepping stones to your greatness. So it's not should having a goal, because if you don't have a goal, you don't even know where you're moving to. So when you have a goal, obstacles are actually teaching you how to get to where you want to get to. Obstacles are life, what are things life used to carve a path for you. And that's why Benjamin Franklin says the things which hurt instructs. No pain, no gain. That is a layman's way of saying it. What cannot kill you makes you stronger. We have those things are not cliche, they are real. What cannot break you, what cannot kill you makes you stronger. Because you're going to find a way to combat those things that are obstacles, and then you find a way to solve them, and they become stepping stones so that when your teammates encounter them, you will know what to tell them. And that is why in our business today, if you do not walk a path, you will not be able to teach your people how to do that. And that's why sponsoring is you doing it and then teaching your teammates how to do it and showing them how to do it and doing it with them and then watching them as they do it. Of course, we know how we sponsor people. So you must have to pass through that. If you're not passing through enough obstacles, then you're not doing enough in our business. If you're not, one of the major obstacles, we encounter is objection. If some people are not objecting to you, are not rejecting and whatever it is, of course, you know that objection is not them rejecting you, but rejecting the offer because maybe it's not yet time for them. All right. You need to understand that we're not going to go into that. But understand that if you're not getting enough, it means you're not doing enough. So the things which hurt instruct, and that is in the words of Benjamin Franklin. We need to write that down so that whenever the word says do so, we understand that whatever is hurting us, there is an instruction in it, and we look out for the instruction in it. And that's why I tell people that I don't just believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I believe that there is light inside the tunnel. That problem you're passing through, that obstacle that you're encountering, there is a lesson embedded in it. Have you seen it? If you've not seen it, look closely and you will surely see it, okay? All right, so let's look at the way through obstacles. The way through obstacles. And the first one I read says objective judgment now at this moment. We need to understand that there are basically two ways people observe things. You can perceive, and we'll talk about it. You can look at something objectively, or you can look at something, what's the other way now? When I remember it, I'll mention it. It just keeps escaped me now. So objective judgment means that you need to look at something. There is this prayer I was taught, Catholics in the house may know it, serenity prayer. Serenity prayer, God give me the, who knows that prayer? God give me the, who knows serenity prayer? Can you say it out? Type it for us. Type it for us. Serenity prayer. I used to say it a lot. Give me the, who knows that? Can someone type it? Let me see. Who can type that serenity prayer if you know it? But you know the prayer now. You're not in cell meeting. Your people are here. We say that a lot. When I remember it, I'll tell us, because some of us, we need to start saying that serenity prayer so that we stop lamenting. Give me the, nobody has said it. Serenity prayer. Okay. Give me the courage to change the things I can change, the Keneka and the wisdom to know the difference. I believe I'll remember it. When I remember it, I'll tell you. So the objective judgment, we need to learn how to now live in the moment. Live in the moment. Some of us, what is holding us down are things that happened in the past, things you cannot change, things that you don't have control over. You need to understand that you need to look at things objectively and then follow it with unselfish action. All right? And then the willingness to accept the external events, everything has to be looked at. Now is the moment you need to consider. Let 80% of your time be concentrated on the now. The very little, like somebody said 5% should be in the past or whatever, depending. But let 3/4 of your time be concentrated on the now. All right, the past does not matter because you can't do anything to change it. It only tells you the mistakes you've made so that you don't repeat it again. And the future, you don't have to dwell on the future so that you don't get paranoid. Live in the now. It's all a matter of perception, action, and will. All right. So let me explain that. Overcoming obstacles is a discipline of three critical steps. It begins with how we look at specific problems. That's what I meant by looking at it objectively. Our attitude or approach, then the energy and creativity with which we actively break them down and turn them into opportunities. All right. There is an opportunity in every seemingly difficult situation you encounter. Then finally, the cultivation, maintenance of an inner will that allows us to handle defeat and difficulty. There are three interdependent and they are interconnected, all right? Perception, action, and the will. And we'll see that as we progress. Has someone written that prayer for me? Fantabulous. Adeika, thank you so much. The serenity prayer says, Lord, give me the courage to accept the things that I cannot change, the power to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You didn't add the last one, so I'll add it for you. The courage to accept the things that I cannot change, the power to change the ones that I can change, and then the wisdom to know the difference. That should be our prayer, and I'll dwell again on it. I'll call our attention to it again because it will come up later as we progress. So if you would have a great empire, you need to rule yourself. Do you know that what we are building here, we're not just building businesses. Yes, we are not just building businesses. We are building an empire. And the moment you understand that you're building an empire, you will calm down and know that to build an empire does not take a day to do that. And for you to know how to build a great empire, you must have to, first of all, be able to rule yourself. In our business, your first downline is yourself. If you don't know how to sponsor yourself right, you will not know how to sponsor your teammates right, because you cannot give what you do not have. So in order to build an empire, you must first of all understand that you must not panic. When people panic, they make mistakes. Now, a lot of Ponzi schemes come up here and there. I think about a year or two, we had things like crowd. One came up and swept a lot of teammates away because the people will come up, hey, better plan, better this, better that. See, things like that will come up. But unless you're laser focused and unless you have control of yourself, unless you're in deep control of your emotions, you will always be swayed by beautiful things that will keep coming up. Things that look seemingly beautiful, not just only beautiful, seemingly in quotes. So you need to understand that you don't panic. Go and read up Rockefeller, all right? Read up his story and see how he became a great oil merchant. People were selling off. He refused to sell because he developed a habit of sitting himself to understand exactly what is going on and analyzing before taking action. Some of us will react to what is happening. You need to learn that you don't react, you act. You don't let things sway you, so you don't keep making mistakes. All right? So if you would like to have a great empire, you rule yourself. People that panic override a lot of systems. We have systems in our system, in our business, and when you panic, you override the systems, and eventually you will not get the result. You disregard procedures and you ignore rules. I was talking to a teammate yesterday. I was trying to ask, okay, not in Abuja. I said, how is your business? Okay, what did you do last week and all that? And she said she bought numbers. And I was like, I don't understand. You bought numbers? How? How do you mean you bought numbers? What does that read of desperation to me? How do you buy numbers? And by the time I explained everything, she saw the mistake. How can you buy? That is not our system. We have ways of generating name lists from your warm market, from your hot market, your warm market, and your cold market. All right? Whether it's a big announcement you want to do, whether it's third party, there has to be a link, whether it's Facebook ad or whatever, we have ways. When you panic, when you become desperate, you disregard procedures and you ignore rules, and that's where the failure will stem from. People that panic, they deviate from the plan. People that panic become unresponsive and they stop thinking clearly, and that is a recipe for disaster. And when someone stops thinking clearly, you cannot communicate to the person. So you need to understand that obstacles, when you look at them as obstacles, they deal with you. But when you look at them, just tweak it a little. There was a course I did, and we were taught how to manage emotions. And one of the things we practiced was so funny, how you can actually not engage in verbal altercations with people. Let me just give you a quick preview of that. Okay. And you said it late, but okay. I already said it. Let's say someone comes to you now and starts making trouble, shouting. And ordinarily, your old you will respond. But what if you just keep calm and you just look at the person, and while you're looking, you imagine the person's nose growing? The one that made me, there were a lot of things, but they said, imagine the person's nose growing. You can actually laugh out when you make all those pictorial imaginations, okay? Or the person's mouth growing, and then play back. If it's something that they said that, you kept repeating in your head and it kept upsetting you, just play it back very fast, that you will actually lose the meaning of that. And then imagine the person, when the person is talking, the person is good, maybe you can add long ear to the person, you can add just cartoon characters. All right, you will not hear that thing again. And that is one way perception can actually help us to combat a lot of things. There are two ways to it. There is context and there is reframing. We'll not go into that. All right. So you don't just react. Not to what people that panic. They don't just react. They just react not to what they need to react to, but to survival hormones that are coursing through their veins. You need to learn not to react to things. You need to learn to calm yourself down. Okay, imagine now. Let's bring this to our business. Imagine during the lockdown, God blessed us in this team. If you have not started appreciating God for the team you find yourself in, especially the C2NFG, the champions team, then there is something you're not getting right. You're not thinking well. Let God open your eyes so that you can see what is before you. Imagine the pandemic. The pandemic was not a Nigerian factor. The pandemic was a universal factor. It was the whole world. Even America, in their all-knowingness, come on guys, in their all-knowingness, they are the world power. Pandemic affected their economy. Pandemic affected the economy of all the countries across the world. People were locked down, people became broke, people didn't know what to do. But the pandemic did not affect our business. Instead, it made our business to rise. Our business that was constrained to only our town, so people couldn't go outside their base to sponsor because they wanted to be where they would be able to at least give ample time to any person that signs it. But the pandemic gave us the opportunity to start running our businesses online. And the business exploded. Everybody in this business that had a business before the pandemic knows, and they can attest to that they made so much money during the pandemic than they have ever made before. So people are yet to cross the money they made during pandemic. The same pandemic that crushed businesses, that same pandemic exploded our business, and that's how we are now running this business online. Before the pandemic, there was nothing like this Zoom meeting. I didn't even know how to use Zoom. I had not even used Zoom in my life. I didn't even know it was existing. But look at us now, from wherever we are able to anchor this cell meeting now. Everybody is listening to us. What gave rise to it was what other people termed obstacles gave rise to this amazing concept for us, and it has come to stay. That's why they said the hot water that softens the potato hardens the egg. So what do you choose the hot water to do for you? That thing that people are calling obstacle. Let me give you another example. When ED 3.0 was launched, people were lamenting. And some other things and they increased the price. But we didn't look at it. We looked at the positivity in it. We looked at it as the fact that now we can become millionaires effectively and faster. Now we are not going to just look at, oh, referral bonus is 5,000, even if I connect someone with 15 accounts is 5,000. It now looks small to us because now we see that when we connect someone with 15 accounts, guys, you're hitting 100K. Imagine now that you can now make $1 million in one day. That could never have happened. Never. That could never have happened. But now you can actually make $1 million in one day easily. Even if you're in your mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, what does that tell you? The obstacle is not the obstacle. The obstacle remains the way, depending on how you look at it. So learn not just to react to things that happen to you. Relax, all right? Do not be directed by hormones passing through your body, but learn to wait and analyze things before you take action, okay? All right, so let's look at the remedies. Let's look at some remedies to certain obstacles that may come our way. The first one I said is become an authority. What is that thing that is difficult for you? Is it presentation? Is it invitation? Whatever it is, become an authority in that. Uncertainty and fear are relieved by authority, and training is what will give you an authority. That's all you need. And that's why cell meeting remains an integral part of running this business. Anybody that does not attend cell meeting, forget it. You're quitting very soon. Forget it. It is a cell meeting that you hear us tell you, cell meeting is not just all, then follow it with work. But at least you have to get the training. For only a trained man can run this business, and indeed any business in the world. Without the training, you're not getting anywhere. Without the training, you're just throwing enough mud on the wall, hoping that some of it sticks. And eventually, if none sticks, you're going to quit. How do you become an authority? Become an authority, read books, attend trainings, so that the fear will be dissipated. Increase your exposures. With enough of the exposures, one can adapt out of this perfectly ordinary. They are ordinary, yes, that's why I wrote perfectly ordinary, even innate fears that are bred from unfamiliarity. Unfamiliar grounds, when you're going into an unfamiliar ground, yes, you have a certain level of skepticism. You'll be afraid, what do I mean? All right, what do I mean? But when you know you have walked a path, let's say now I am going to a new place, a new town. I will wonder, what will I meet? Will they accept me? But if it's somewhere I have been to over and over and over, there will be any form of unfamiliarity. And how do I get that? By exposing myself, by doing that over and over, that it becomes a part of me. Increase your tolerance for stress and uncertainty. Take a cue from the astronauts. Now, if you've read about astronauts, what makes a good astronaut is not even your level of skill. It's not your knowledge. Before the astronauts can be launched into the moon, they do thorough training on their emotions. They will simulate everything that they will encounter in the moon on their journey. All right, whatever it is, they'll simulate it, and then they will make sure that they get accustomed to those emotions and they don't phase by any of those things coming. You know why? Because a single panic, pressing wrong button, breathing wrongly, doing anything can crash that trip. So you need to increase your tolerance for stress and uncertainty so that you get to a level where customer does not bother you. Where you invited someone and you know you did everything the right way, yeah, they didn't come, it's not your problem. Where we have people who went to the bank 6 months ago to make payments, and up to now they have not come back. It's not bothering us because we know that there is no shortage of human beings on earth. This business is the best, the most beautiful business because it trains you all around. Imagine a business that will train you to become an authority. It trains you to, expose yourself enough that you become familiar with everything that comes your way. It increases your tolerance for stress and uncertainty. One business can give you that. Only this business. And we are very fortunate to be in the best team in the world. I'm telling you. A team that ensures you read. They say if you want to hide something from a black man, hide it in a book. So nothing is hidden from us anymore because everything that is hidden in a book, we are seeing it. We are reading the books of those amazing men who have gone before us and That's the highest level of success, and then they put it in a book, and we've seen what they did, and we're able to do that, and we achieved that result. See, when you listen to Eric Warren and hear his earnings, and then you compare that to the money we make in this business, you know we are doing amazingly well. If you convert it to dollars, we are doing very well, because we are taking, we took Eric Warren, we took Mark Morris, we have Randy Gage, Mark Morris, Eric Warren, what was the other one? That one that talks and speaks. Rough Keep, not Rough Keep, the dark man, the one that looks like Boss K. We took all their business, all their trainings, and we put them together, and we developed a hybrid system. And you wonder why you're doing better. If you've not started doing better, it's because you're not using the system enough. And then even if you are using the system enough, continue compound effect to set it. So take a cue from the astronauts. Take a cue. They are not bothered. Any person of button, even breathing wrongly, can cause something. There was someone that went to the moon and was able to keep his heartbeat steady for how long? Was it a day, or I don't know how long they said he did that. That came from training. All right. Then focus only on what you can change. Real strength lies in the domestication of one's emotion. You know what it means to domesticate. Domesticated animals. When you domesticate dog, of course, the dog domesticated dog can play with your newborn baby, not mine. Yeah, I don't like dogs. I don't know if I can leave a dog with my baby. But domesticated animals, even a chicken that gets domesticated can actually add a drama. Domesticate, you train them and they learn. That is how you should be able to domesticate your emotions, so that whatever comes your way does not wave you, does not move your emotions. And how do you do that? Remove back energy. There are people you must drop from your life, whether you like it or not. There are people, all they breathe is bad energy. And when you try to make them understand and they don't, throw them, just give them that handkerchief of peace and move on. You don't need anything that will stress you. I'm telling you. And especially sorry, let me not, so that it won't be as if I'm telling you to stop talking to people. But of course, you're adults, you understand what I'm saying. So real strength lies in the domestication of one's emotion. Let me not tread that part. All right? Yeah, Jim Rohn as well. All of them. So let's move on. But you know now, anybody that is not giving you good vibes, but drop the person. Now me talk them. Some people, all they do is bad energy. Some people, there was a study that was done. Let me accentuate what I'm saying. There was a study that was done, and 3 people that were happy were put in a room, and they were allowed to spend like 2 to 3 hours in a room, and they brought someone that was sad. They were put in a room, and after about separated, they were not allowed to talk. And after about 2 to 3 hours, they were removed. And then another sad person was brought and put in the room. And they were monitoring, you know how Oyibos do now? They have a way of monitoring the chemical reactions in our body. And now, when that sad person was put in that room, after a couple of minutes, by the time the person came out, the person was happy. Why? Because of the energy those happy people left in the room. It entered. Then the reverse was made. 3 sad people were put in a room, not allowed to talk in the room. And then eventually after 2 to 3 hours, they were removed, and a happy person was brought in. And eventually when they brought up, the person was sad because he or she had acquired the energy in the room. There is energy that flows with people, and you need to know that. Be mindful of people that you interact with. Be mindful of people that you allow around you. You're the average of the 5 persons closest to you. It doesn't just go with money, even energy-wise. So we need to understand that we need to be in charge of our emotions. Don't let people dance away with your emotions. Be a guide, be the one in charge of your emotions. Anybody that is not giving you good energy, drop the person. Good vibes, drop the person. Yes. So that at any point in time, the vibes you're emanating, you are dissipating, you are exhuming, or my Sabi English, will be good vibes. Good vibes. So that you can attract good vibes. Okay? Yes. So we defeat emotions with logic. Let's look at this. I want this to be a bit interactive. This one. I want us to see objectively how, just by having that conversation with ourselves, we can actually turn things around. See, nothing is as it seems. Nothing is good or bad, but for the meaning we give it. Nothing is good or bad for the meaning, but for the meaning we give it. Let's look at this now. Let's say you did something and you lost money. I need you to understand the kind of conversations you have with yourself, and you defeat your emotions with logic. Okay, you lost money, but ask yourself, but aren't losses a pretty common part of business? Don't people lose money every day in business? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Now, is that supposed to be catastrophic? Of course it's not necessarily. Not necessarily. So this is not totally unexpected, is it? I'm having a conversation with myself now. I'm reading it out. I had that conversation with myself, but I needed to understand where I'm coming, where I'm going to. Okay, so I lost money in a business, and I asked myself, but aren't losses the pretty common part of business? And I respond, yes, it is. It actually happens in business. Are these losses catastrophic? Is this supposed to kill me? Is this supposed to be my end? Of course, it shouldn't. Then I say, so this is not totally unexpected, is it? Of course it's not. So how could that be so bad? Why are you all worked up? I'm telling myself over something that is at least occasionally supposed to happen. And what do you think myself will say? Oh, okay, yes, this shouldn't kill me. This is normal. It happens. And not only that, but haven't I dealt with worse situations before? Wouldn't I be better off applying some of that resources rather than lamenting and all of that? So I've tried to have the conversation, and I've through logic told myself that this is not the end of the world. I can actually get over this. Now let's do that. You prospected, and the person promised you he or she would come, and the person didn't come. You ask yourself, is this normal? Is this happening for the first time? No. Does this mean people wouldn't come again to my business? No, not necessarily. It's possible something held the person back. And of course, I can always reschedule. And even if the person doesn't come eventually, we have over 7 billion people in the world, so we are not in shortage of people. Now, the people that have gotten to that level of success in their business, did they experience this? Yes. Did they combat it? Did they find a way around it? Yes, they did. Is it possible that I can actually find a way around it? Yes. So why am I brooding about this? You move on. Okay. So another thing, you invited a friend who didn't join your business. Okay. What does that mean? Does that mean, is that the end of the friendship? Of course, no, because you know that when you attain success, of course, the person will come, and then they'll be looking at you with admiration. All right. So the person didn't join the business. Why must I lament? No, I continue. So you have to find a way to have conversations with yourself. The guy, I have someone that went to the bank 6 months ago, and he isn't back. Oh, I hope he's safe. It does not have to stop. What is it that you've encountered that has really kept you down? What is that thing? Have a conversation with yourself. Look at it, tweak it. Look at it from another angle. All right. If it didn't kill you, you're still here standing, then it's not worth lamenting over. Let's look at practicing objectivity. Don't let the force of an impression, when it first hits you, knock you off your feet. That obstacle, that rejection rocket, don't let it knock you off your feet. Just say to it, hold on a moment. Okay, I've encountered this problem. Now, hold on. Let me see who you are. What exactly are you telling me? What do you represent? What am I supposed to learn from it? Let me put you to test. These are, see, when you converse with yourself, someone by yourself, are you losing it? But only you know what you're actually doing to yourself, okay? Let's dissect the phrase. For example, I'm giving you an example of, practicing objectivity. Let's dissect this phrase now. It says, this happened and it is bad. This happened and it is bad. There is objectivity there, and there is, the one you perceive, the one you observe. This happened. Yes, it happened. It's true, it happened. That's you looking at it objectively. And it is bad. How? That is you perceiving that it is bad. What if you looked at that and said, oh, thank God this happened. Have you looked at something? Let me tell you, if something happens and you actually decide to laugh about it, it loses the grip it has on you. Try it. So we have two statements there. This happened and it is bad. Yes. This happened. Yes, it is bad. Not necessarily. The perceiving eye is weak. The observing eye is strong. So you have observed that it's happened. Yes. Then what about it? What interpretation are you giving to that thing that happened? You invited, the person didn't come. We are running a Dubai challenge now. I needed to bring this to perspective. We are running a Dubai challenge now. We're running a Dubai challenge, yes. Will you be part of that? Are you going to get your seats this 10? How do you interpret that? When they said the first phase will make or mar your business, I took it and I ran with it. You connect 6 persons. Look at it. Do you look at it as being simple? or being hard. They said every 10 days, after the first 10 days, every 10 days, all you need to do, all as in totality, is just to generate 7 codes under each of those 6. As simple as that. You know that the 6 they will be running, it's not just one person. As they are growing, all of them together, whether they are 10, they are 15, under that 6, all they need to do is generate 7 codes per 10 days. How easy did that sound to you? How easy did you perceive it? That will go a long way to determining whether you will hit that goal or not. If you tell yourself it is difficult, yes, it will be difficult. Tell yourself it is achievable. And of course it is. When we discussed it, we were all excited at the requirements. We said, now we can go with a lot of our teammates on vacation, because this is the easiest qualification we have ever brought up. The easiest, I tell you. We have 90 days game plan. We have 9 batches of 10 days. And it was broken down for us. The first 10 days, all you need to do, connect 6 people. And then the remaining, from the second batch of 10 days to the last batch of 10 days, all you need to do is connect 7 persons, 7 codes, not 7 persons, sorry. Just generate 7 codes under each. That's all. That's all. So when we study ourselves, our emotions are held back and we can see things as they really are. So all in all, perceptions are the problems. Perceptions. How do you perceive what is happening? How do you perceive the business? Do you agree that this business is the best business in the world? If you agree, yes, the universe will conspire to give you that will suit that's your mentality of the business being the greatest business in the world. Remember, we are going to things, we are trying to solve things that would stop you from taking action. And that's what we are dealing with today. So action remains the ultimate goal. We are getting to that. So understand that you need to alter your perception. You need to alter your perception. Now you have decided, you have known what happened, how you perceive it. When you break apart something and look at it from some angle different from how you were looking at it before, it loses its power over you. We cannot change the obstacles themselves. That part of the equation is set, but the power of perceptive can change how the obstacles appear. Let's look at athletes, for example. There are certain things you do not control. You don't question the rules of the game as an athlete, as a sports person, not just athlete. You're a basketballer. You don't question the rules. There are things that are up to you to question, and you control that. All right. In our business, there are things that we control, things like our invitations, we can control it, our follow-up, we can control it, our closing, we can control it, the momentum, we can control it, so many things you can control it, but you cannot control if you've done the right thing and the prospect didn't come. There are certain things you can't control. The worst thing you can do is to brood over the things you cannot control. That's why I started with that serenity prayer. That's why I started with that serenity prayer. So let me read it again, because God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, it will be foolish of us to go and term the things you can change. We just assume and tell ourselves the lie that this is part of the things I cannot change. No. There are things you can change. So as sports people, we're all sports people, all right, on the face of it, especially in our business. There are things that we can do. All right, it would be foolish of a basketballer, a footballer, to start arguing with referee on the field. When you argue with referee on the field, he can only fetch you 1 or 2 things, either a yellow card or a red card. A yellow card is a warning, a red card, you're off the game. So how we approach, view, and contextualize an obstacle and what to tell ourselves it means determines how daunting and trying it will be to overcome. Don't beat yourself up. Don't do that. Don't do that. Learn that prayer and keep saying it. And then in wisdom, know the difference. Let's look at what is up to us. What is up to us? What is up to us, especially appertains to our business and in our world today? Our emotions, they are up to us to control. Our judgments, our creativity, our attitude, our perception, our desires, our decisions, our determination, our actions, all of these things are up to us to control. What is not up to us? Everything else, the weather. Oh, you can't control the weather now. Why cry that the rain is falling? Do you know that marketer? There was a story I heard one time, and it stuck with me. Marketers, when it starts training, one marketer, we can even bring it. One marketer can say, oh, now I can go and do this because other marketers will not go out because of the rain. Another person can say, oh, it's raining. Everybody will be indoors. Somebody will open the door and it stays. Who among them do you think will try, will do well? The weather, you don't have control over it. You're not God. All right. But you can decide not to be stopped by the weather. All right. Because the rain that falls on you falls on every other person's home. Everybody, we're all in this same country, we're all in this business. While you're lamenting about the business, have you not heard that someone, did you not see that post that was made yesterday? In this 3.0, people are massive wealth. People are massive, great wealth. They are looking at it as, they are interpreting it as, this is our gold mine. This is when we have to explode. This is when we take up the notch a bit. So you don't control the weather, you don't control the economy, you don't control the circumstances, you don't control other people's emotions, you don't control other people's judgment, you don't control threats, you don't control disasters. Quit lamenting, quit crying about them, and face the ones you can control, the ones I mentioned out there, emotional judgments and all of that. Okay? What is up to us is the playing field. What is not up to us are the rules and conditions of the game. I cannot overemphasize on that. The playing field is our business. Sorry, the playing field is our emotions and judgments, what we do, our activities. The field, the rules of the game are what is not up to us. So focusing exclusively on what is in our power magnifies and enhances our power. So we need to pay attention to what we can do. Do it in the number that has been given to us to do. Follow the SMO checklist. Do everything we are supposed to do, and momentum will kick in. And of course, compound effect is kick in. Momentum is the friend of everybody that wants to succeed. Let's look at some important notes before we round up. You have to live in the present moment. I already said that. You need to think differently. Being a genius is the ability to, what was I writing there? To bring into effect what is in your mind. A genius is that person who can actually think something and find a way to bring it to fruition. So you need to think differently, all right? Find the opportunity. There is an opportunity inherent in every obstacle that you've encountered. Have you found it? A good person dies event. And die, that's a die you need to do. You used to do tie and die, you know? A good person, a successful person dies events with his own color. You can't look at an event with my color. That's why gossip remains gossip. Is bad. There's this illustration we normally do in our business. Well, the reason, what we want to tell you exactly the reason why SMO checklist has to be used, why the script has to be adhered to. We know you're smart, we know you can cram it, but please don't cram it. Please make sure that anytime you're running, you're making, anytime you're making a call, that the script is before you. You know why? Every line in the script is there for a reason. Every line in the script is there for a reason, okay? And when you don't use the script to teach your teammates, eventually the whole script will be distorted. By the time the last person is saying it, you will not even recognize what the person is saying. So you need to use the script. You need to use it so that you can see it the way the original author, the creator of the system wrote it. That's why the system is powerful in our business, because every time the canary that enters follows the system and gets the same result. It is not respecter of your certificate does not matter, whether you can speak good English or not does not matter. All matters is your confidence, your poise. Do you think you can do it? Can you learn the system? Are you humble enough to learn? Fine and good, you can run our business. That's what we tell you. It's not dependent on you and your previous success. Everybody can be successful because everybody can dye the event with his own color. We are given the type script and we use it to turn whatever happens to our own benefit. Blessings and burdens are not mutually exclusive. Blessings and burdens are not mutually exclusive. What Miss A may call blessing will be a burden to Miss B if Miss B perceives it as a burden. It 3.0 is the greatest thing that has happened to us. Are you seeing it as that? Have you started harnessing the power in it? Prepare to act. That's where our action comes to bear. Now you have known that the obstacle is a stepping stone for you. You have known that the way you perceive obstacle is what will determine how you go about it. You have learned all of these things. What next? Knowing that is not enough. Knowing that is not enough. Now that you know it, what do? You have to act. So a clearer head makes for a steadier hands, all right? How do you get a clear head? Now you know. If you know that this is this, it will be a fool that will still be perturbed by that. I know that at every 7 o'clock, generator comes on. In Shalom Plaza, every 10 o'clock, generator comes on, for example. Won't I be a fool to come to work at night and I'll be fretting? Why have they not put on generator? That will be foolish of me. But if I know that surely this is circumstance, I will be calm, waiting for 10 o'clock for the generator to come on. And that's why you have a clearer head. When you know that, okay, if I do this, this is what will come. It gives me that clearer head, okay, and makes for a steadier hand for me, that I am sure that when I do this, this is what will come. It's not just like playing chess. We know that once I connect someone with a digiverse, 100K enters my account. No two ways about it. I connect someone with megaverse, 150K enters my account. And I have a problem of 1 million naira waiting for me by the side. What do you think I'll do? It's just to plot the math. So if I do this, I'm not even looking at the referral matching bonus. If I see that's how people are making massive money. If you're in this business and you still have cash problem, it means that you're not utilizing the opportunity God has put in your way. So now that you know all of these things, you prepare to act. What is action, ladies and gentlemen? We'll end that because I told you that this is in 2 sessions. This is just the preamble. The remaining one that has to do with action, it will take us a full day, a full cell meeting to tackle that. But let's get into that. What exactly is action? How can you define action? Action, how can you define action? Can someone define action? Let's look at the dictionary meaning of action. What do you think action is? Meaning of action. I'm trying to Google it. The fact or process of doing something, typically to achieve an aim. The fact or process of doing something typically to achieve an aim. So now you have a goal. Understand that you cannot attain that goal if you don't have any action. Without action, no goal can be achieved. But there is right action and there is wrong action. So let's look at the right action. The right action says that everything must be done in the service of the whole. You have to do, it has to be holistic. Step by step, action by action, we will dismantle the obstacles in front of us. In front of us. Action requires courage, not brashness. Fortune favors the bold. For you to attain that level of there are certain things I can't say in English. If you don't understand what I mean, record it and ask your neighbor. There is the mind you have as a thousandaire, and there is the mind you have as a millionaire. Even millionaire get level. As a 1 million naira only earner, there is the mind you have, and the mind you have as if you have to make 10 million. Will not be the mind you have when you're making 1 million. So you need to have the courage. It's not a matter of being brash. Creative application has to come in and not brute force. That's why they say if you do not plan, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So you must apply creative application, not brute force. Our movements and decisions define us. That's why we tell you every day that you're a product of the decisions you've taken. Your today is as a result of the decisions you took yesterday. No two ways about it. We are products of our choices. It's a choice to attend cell meeting. It's a choice not to attend cell meeting. We keep telling you that cell meeting is an integral part of our business. It's your choice to attend it. Nobody will come to your home and pour water on your bed for you to wake up. We are not going to flog you for you to wake up, but we told you it is important that you do not miss cell meeting. Now you have to take a decision not to miss cell meeting. Now, when you take that decision not to miss cell meeting, what then do you do? If you are a deep sleeper, you can set an alarm clock, or you have your spouse wake you, or you have something. But then you decide, and then you carry out an action that will make sure that you don't miss cell meeting. And then we learn from cell meeting, we tell us what to do. Then we take action. Action, decision precedes action. So therefore, we must act with deliberation, boldness, and persistence. For me, the ultimate recipe for success is persistence and commitment. You must be committed, you must be persistent, you must be consistent. That's why we keep telling you that the river does not go through the rock by its sheer force. It is by consistency. It wears that rock sand, grain by grain. Grain by grain, and eventually one day, boom, you see a giant hole. It didn't happen one day. So if you want to be successful in our business and you're not ready to attach consistency and persistency and commitment to what you do, you're just dreaming, you're a joker. So these attributes must accompany your work. These are the attributes of right and effective action. So there is right action and there is wrong action. Wrong action in our business is doing it once in a while. Slow and steady. Slow and steady will start you to death. Fast and consistent is the right action in our business. Action is the solution and the cure to all predicaments. What is that predicament you're passing through? What is that giant obstacle you're trying to overcome? Massive action is the solution. Let me tell you, if there is anything you dread, as far as this business is concerned, if there is anything you dread, do it multiple times, do it massively, do it consistently, and the fear of that thing dissipates. So action is the solution and the cure to all our predicaments. All our obstacles can be dismantled with massive action. All right? If you doubt it, ask anybody. That Greek man was asked, okay, what's the solution? How did you achieve this level of success? Because he grew to become someone very great. You had speech impediment. Your inheritance was taken from you. You didn't have money. How did you eventually turn things around and you won the case, defending yourself in court? You won the case. You got the remaining parts, and then you went ahead to become a defender for the Greeks. And he said 3 things: action, action, action. And I took that. What is that thing you want to achieve? There are 3 things you can do: action, action, action. Do that in multiple, do that consistently, do that in massive number. That is why I say one checklist remains the Bible. Tells us what to do, tells us how to do it, tells us in what quantity to do it, and for what duration to do it to elicit success. If you miss any of these things, you're not going to get the success you're looking for. No 2 ways about it, because the deed has been done and will be handed down to us. So we are going to look at the discipline of action in our next cell meeting. I'm not going to go into that because we've already gone past the time.